Welcome back, Curriculum Mappers. In my last video, I was demonstrating how we can generate a URL to go back and modify outcomes that had been submitted previously. Today's video will focus on the concept of pre-filling the responses. Because if you remember, some of the data we're including in the form isn't so intuitive, like the document ID, or else typing out the entire name of a specific unit. So by offering these up as pre-filled options in a Google form, we can save teachers a lot of time in attributing outcomes to those units. So here's how this works. The first thing we need to do is we need to import data from our file cabinet view. All right, so this is merely a import from that file cabinet view, and I want to talk a little bit about this because there are some quirks to it. So the import range function works great. However, it doesn't seem to allow you to do the query import range on the first try. So you may need just to do an import range of whatever you like, simply to connect the sheets. And then once you've done that, then the query import range functions as expected, and you can pull in the specific columns that you need to work with your outcomes. Now in my case, I'm separating out in this case, the arts outcomes, because our subject areas have slightly different outcomes. All right, you may have outcomes for grade level, so you may want to have a criteria for sort of clustering your outcomes based on grade level, and this is where having a condition like this will help put all of those units into one basket, and then you can create URLs for each of those units in this same basket, if that makes sense. So again, we're going to be using Google Apps Script, and the script isn't so complicated. I'll do my best to explain what's happening, but for the most part, it's a copy and paste, and then you kind of just tweak it based on the results that you're getting in your own scenario. So I'm going to open the script editor, but before I do that, I do want to make note that I am pasting this formula in cell A3, right? Because when you're working with awesome tables, you tend to need a couple of header rows. You need like this one to give the sort of the column a name, and then you need row 2 to attribute a specific filter to that column. So in the previous video, I demonstrated how you could use sort of keywords or key strings to locate units quickly, or a drop-down menu which you could filter the outcomes by the teacher name, and that's what these filters are doing respectively. So now on to the script, and again I will post this in the comments in our Google Plus community, so you can copy and modify as needed. So here's the code to build the pre-filled URLs, and really the most important parts of this are the fact that we're telling the script where to put that URL. So I'm telling it to put it into column 4 of this import sheet. Okay, so if we look at my import sheet, column 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where the pre-filled URL will be placed. And again, this happens fairly quickly. And I don't have any specific triggers set up with this. I think in the future I may try to set up a time trigger so it can pick up any new units and then automatically create that pre-filled URL. But right now I'm just manually generating those URLs. And then in this segment, I'm basically telling the the script to go to the form URL. Again, this is a copy-paste portion of this. That's to the form that's connected to that sheet. And these are the items that it is picking up. I think I actually have these items here in reverse. This is actually, I'm pretty sure this is the unit, and this is the document ID. That's what that should be. So sometimes it's a little confusing to know what 0 is and what 1 is, but in this case, the 0 stands for the first question in the form. So we're looking at, if we go to the form, we can see here that my first question is regarding the unit, and the second question is the document ID. So that's the first item, and then the response, so this is basically answering that first item, is located, I'm telling where that information is located, and that's from my import sheet, and it's in the first column, right? So if I go back to here, this is no longer the first column. This is the 0 column. So this is 1. So that's where I'm pulling the response item for that, for the unit, and then the same applies for the document ID. So again, this is like question 2, even though there is a 1 there, and then this is from column 2, even though it's like the third column over. So we can see that that is the document ID. So that's what's happening there. And then this last bit of code basically just actually sets the value, which is the URL, into our target destination, which is column 4. And that will generate this list of outcomes. So combining these, the edit response URL and the prefilled URLs, is where it gets a little tricky. So now I've essentially built an edit response URL column and a submit your outcomes prefilled URL column. I need to put these items into one column based on a condition which I'm going to demonstrate in the next video. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.